the still surface of Lake Michigan lies a mystery that has never been unraveled. Ships that vanished without a trace. Planes that fell from the sky with no clear reason. People who disappeared as if they never existed. Was it mere accident, or is something far more chilling at work within the Michigan Triangle? Join us on a journey into the most haunting disappearances in this lake's history, if you dare. Lake Michigan, one of the 5 Great Lakes in North America's Great Lakes system, is not only a natural wonder with its vast area and spectacular beauty, but also a place hiding strange and frightening mysteries. Covering nearly 58,000 kilometers, it is the 3rd largest lake in the Great Lakes system in terms of surface area and the 2nd largest by volume. However, beneath the serene appearance of its deep blue waters are haunting stories, unsolved disappearances, and unexplained phenomena that have earned it the title of the most dangerous lake among the 5. Each year, dozens of people lose their lives on Lake Michigan, mostly due to drowning. Many incidents occur under what seem like normal conditions, with stable weather and no apparent warning signs. This has caused concern among researchers and locals alike, prompting various theories, ranging from natural factors to supernatural phenomena. At the heart of these mysteries lies the area known as the Michigan Triangle, a region of water stretching between 3 points: Manitowoc, Wisconsin, Ludington, and Benton Harbor, Michigan. Similar to the famous Bermuda Triangle in the Atlantic Ocean, this area is notorious for strange disappearances, not only of ships and planes, but also of people. Some cases remain unsolved to this day, with no plausible explanations, making the Michigan Triangle a topic of interest for investigators, scientists, and enthusiasts of the paranormal. Numerous theories have been proposed to explain the mysterious phenomena in this lake region. One frequently mentioned factor is the lake's unique geography. Lake Michigan can experience powerful rip currents, which often occur suddenly and can pull swimmers far from shore without them realizing it. These currents, combined with sudden large waves and cold water temperatures, especially in the winter when the water is near freezing, create an extremely hazardous environment. Even in summer, the average water temperature is only about 62 degrees Fahrenheit Celsius, cold enough to cause thermal shock and cramps for those unaccustomed to it, increasing the risk of drowning. Not only physical factors, but also the Michigan Triangle is tied to numerous eerie stories. Some witnesses claim to have seen strange lights on the lake's surface, shadowy figures moving across the water at night, or felt an indistinct presence whenever passing through the area. There are also tales of airplanes disappearing suddenly from radar, only to reappear somewhere else as if nothing had ever happened. Mystery 1. The strange appearances of the Rosa ship in the heart of Lake Michigan. In the mysterious history of Lake Michigan, one cannot overlook the name Rosa, a ship famous not for its glorious voyages, but for 2 eerie appearances, nearly half a century apart, both shrouded in unanswered questions. The first occurrence happened in 1875, when the Rosa was discovered capsized off the coast of Milwaukee. When rescue teams approached, they were shocked not by the overturned state of the ship, but by its complete preservation. There were no signs of collision, fire, or any damage from storms. However, all 10 crew members aboard the ship had vanished without a trace, leaving no clues behind. No bodies, no distress signals, no signs of struggle or escape, only a silent ship, lying upside down in the cold waters as if an invisible force had swallowed the entire crew in the blink of an eye. What seemed like a forgotten mysterious tragedy, however, resurfaced again in 1921, also on Lake Michigan. This time, the ship was found once more in the exact same overturned condition, undamaged, with no signs of a crash, and with no one aboard. The chilling coincidence was that the entire crew had once again vanished without a trace. Yet, what made this second incident even stranger was the account of the captain assigned to the voyage. He had declined to board the ship at the last moment after experiencing a strange and frightening dream in which he saw himself swallowed by a gray mist in the middle of the lake. His intense premonition kept him on shore, and perhaps it saved his life. Two events separated by 46 years, yet both shared the same terrifying script. The Rosa Belle, seemingly cursed, continued to drift through the memories of Lake Michigan as a symbol of haunting and the unresolved question: what happened to those people, and who or what was behind these disappearances without a trace? Mystery 2: The Strange Disappearance of the Griffon. In the late 17th century, as European explorers began to venture deeper into the heart of North America, a ship was built with an ambitious mission: to transport a vast cargo of valuable fur and bring glory to its owners. This was the Griffon, considered the largest sailing vessel ever constructed and operated on the Great Lakes at that time. Le Griffon was the brainchild of the French explorer René Robert Cavelier, Sieur de la Salle, a visionary and daring figure. The ship was launched in 1679 and built along the shores of Lake Erie, primarily intended for the transportation of goods, especially furs, one of the most valuable commodities in North America at the time. At over 12 meters long, Le Griffon became a symbol of maritime progress in these wild, challenging lands. On September 18, 1679, after loading rare furs, Le Griffon departed from Washington Island, land of the Potawatomi Native American people, with 6 crew members on board, heading toward the Niagara River, where La Salle was waiting for the ship to return. However, that would be the last time anyone would ever see the Le Griffon. The ship vanished without a trace, and no distress signals, wreckage, or bodies were found in the years that followed. The disappearance of Le Griffon quickly became one of the oldest and most puzzling maritime mysteries in North American history. Numerous theories have been proposed to explain the ship's fate. Some suggest that Le Griffon encountered a massive storm on Lake Michigan and was sunk in the midst of violent waves. Another theory points to the possibility of an attack by hostile Native American tribes, as tensions between Europeans and Native communities were high at the time. Some even speculate that the crew deliberately scuttled the ship to steal the valuable furs and then deserted it. However, to this day, no theory has been definitively proven. The wreckage of Le Griffon has yet to be discovered, despite numerous explorations and modern research using advanced underwater sonar technology. This has earned Le Griffon the title of the first ghost ship of the Great Lakes, a symbol of the mysterious disappearance that still haunts historians and treasure hunters alike. Did the ship truly sink deep beneath the waters of Lake Michigan, or is there something more yet to be uncovered? That question still lingers in the cold, silent waters of the northern lake, a challenge from the past to those who come after. Mystery 3: The Chicora Ship, an Omen, disappearance, and ghostly apparition on the lake. In the winter of 1895, the steamship Chicora, one of the most famous and powerful transportation vessels of its time, departed from Milwaukee, heading to St. Joseph, Michigan. But just hours later, it vanished forever into the cold fog that enveloped Lake Michigan. From that moment, one of the most chilling disappearances in the history of the lake began. Before this fateful voyage, the captain of the Chicora was said to have expressed deep concerns, even voicing that he felt an ominous omen approaching. Although the weather initially seemed favorable, the strange part was that no one ever saw the ship reach its destination, nor were any distress signals sent out. Days later, fragments of the ship began to wash up on shore, including broken planks of wood, floating barrels, and most notably, a letter in a bottle, believed to have been written by a crew member in a desperate hurry before the ship sank, its contents filled with panic. However, the story became even more mysterious with scattered accounts over the following years. people reported seeing a ghostly ship resembling the Chicora drifting across the lake's surface in the fog, silent and unmanned, like a phantom vessel returning from the past, adrift between the real world and the unseen. To this day, the true fate of the Chicora and its crew remains an unsolved mystery, leaving behind broken remnants, a warning from a dream, and a ghostly image forever drifting in the mist of Lake Michigan. Mystery 4: The Mysterious Rescue Story, 1990s. In the 1990s, a group of sailors was navigating their ship through the St. Joseph area, a region famous for its thick fog and harsh weather conditions. Struggling with limited visibility in the dense mist, they suddenly felt as though they had lost their bearings and became trapped in the dark expanse of Lake Michigan. The fog was so thick that they could see nothing but the swirling white smoke surrounding them. In a moment of panic, a strange ship appeared out of nowhere, emerging like a dim light piercing through the fog. This vessel, with its ancient appearance and lacking any registration or identifying signals, seemed to have no reason to be in the area at that time. The sailors felt as though they had been saved as the mysterious ship guided them out of the dangerous zone, navigating through the thick fog. When they turned to thank their rescuers, the rescue ship vanished inexplicably, leaving no trace on radar or in the memory of electronic devices. After the incident was reported, the sailors provided a precise description of the rescue vessel, and surprisingly, its appearance perfectly matched that of a ship that had gone missing 10 years earlier. That ship had sunk during a storm, and no traces were ever found. This left a large unanswered question. Was this ship a ghostly apparition from the past, or simply a strange phenomenon that cannot yet be explained? Mystery 5: The Mysterious Disappearance of Captain George R. Donner. On April 28, 1937, the cargo ship O.S. McFarland was nearing Port Washington, Wisconsin, after a long journey through thick ice on Lake Michigan. Aboard the ship was 9,800 tons of coal and an experienced crew, led by Captain George R. Donner, who had personally navigated the vessel through the perilous journey for days and nights. After several hours of strenuous work, Captain Donner, tired but satisfied with the ship's progress, retired to his cabin to rest. His cabin was locked from the inside, as was his custom whenever he desired complete peace and quiet. When the ship was just a few miles from port, the crew went to wake the captain to prepare for docking, but the door to his cabin remained silent. They knocked, but there was no response. The crew decided to break the lock, and upon entering, they found the cabin empty. There were no signs of a struggle or any signs of flight. The windows and vents were securely locked, with the vent too small for any adult to fit through. Immediately, the entire ship was searched, and even the surrounding waters were scoured, but no trace of Captain Donner was found. The weather at the time was completely calm, with no strong waves or winds, and there was no reason for him to leave the cabin in a state of panic or disarray. No one could explain what had happened. A man had disappeared entirely from a locked space in the middle of the lake, with no witnesses and no clues. Many theories were proposed, ranging from a stroke, suicide, to supernatural phenomena, but none could explain how he had left his cabin without being seen. To this day, the name George R. Donner is associated with one of the most mysterious disappearances in American maritime history, as if he vanished into thin air, swallowed by Lake Michigan without leaving a trace. Mystery 6: Stephen Kubacki, vanishing for 14 months and returning with no memory. In the winter of 1978, 23-year-old student Stephen Kubacki went skiing near the eastern shore of Lake Michigan and then disappeared without a trace. His backpack was found near the snow-covered ground, along with ski tracks leading out onto the frozen lake, which abruptly stopped as if Stephen had suddenly vanished from the world. A large-scale search was launched, But no further evidence was found. No body, no clothing, no personal belongings, no distress signals. His family and friends were forced to accept the grim reality that Stephen might have fallen through the ice or wandered off into a remote area. However, the story didn't end there. 14 months later, in May 1979, Stephen suddenly awoke in a park in Massachusetts, over 1,000 miles away from where he had gone missing. He had no memory of the past 14 months, no idea how he ended up there, and was even wearing strange clothes, carrying a backpack with items he had never seen before. Upon returning home, Stephen showed no signs of physical injury, but it was clear something incredibly unusual had occurred. He claimed that he didn't want psychological therapy and refused to pursue any questions about the time he had been missing, as if a part of him didn't want to know the answer. To this day, Stephen Kubacki's disappearance remains one of the most mysterious cases in the Michigan Triangle region. There is no evidence of foul play, no signs of deception, but also no satisfactory explanation. Numerous theories have been proposed, from psychological trauma, dissociative amnesia, to supernatural explanations such as alien abduction or space-time displacement within the enigmatic triangle. Stephen Kubacki is still alive, but the answers to what really happened during those 14 months will likely remain buried in the shadows forever. Mystery 7, Flight 2501, a tragedy in the night sky and the darkness beneath the lake. On the night of June 23, 1950, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 2501, a DC-4 flying from New York to Seattle, with 55 passengers and 3 crew members on board, disappeared from radar as it passed over the skies above Lake Michigan. Before losing contact, the captain had requested to descend from 3,500 to 2,500 feet due to severe weather conditions. The area was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. However, permission for the descent was not granted due to concerns about the risk of collision with other aircraft flying at lower altitudes. That was the last communication from Flight 2501. After that, all signals went silent. The next morning, search teams were quickly deployed. On the surface of Lake Michigan, only a few floating debris were found, including seat cushions, pieces of life vests, and some fragmented remains. The main fuselage of the plane, the black box, and the bodies of most of the passengers and crew have never been found. The crash made Flight 2501 the deadliest civilian aviation accident in the U.S. at the time. What is truly eerie, though, is that even after more than 70 years, the exact cause of the incident remains unknown. No official reports indicate mechanical failure, terrorism, or human error. Even more perplexing is a report from 1998 when a private jet pilot claimed to have seen a strange, slow-moving circular object hovering over the lake in the exact area where Flight 2501 disappeared. Although no connection could be confirmed, this detail raised questions for many. Could there be something more sinister at play in the Michigan Triangle, something beyond the reach of science? Lake Michigan remains still and quiet, but deep beneath its waters, the secret of Flight 2501 may still lie dormant, or perhaps it waits to be uncovered by those daring enough to peer into the darkness. Mystery 8, the 1994 UFO incident, strange lights in the Michigan sky. In March 1994, the sky above Lake Michigan became eerily unusual. Over the course of several hours, more than 300 witnesses from lakeside towns like Holland, Muskegon, and Grand Haven called in reports to the police and meteorological stations about strange lights appearing in the night sky. Witnesses described brilliant flashes of light moving in seemingly impossible orbits, hovering mid-air, then darting off at incredible speeds, only to stop abruptly as if defying the laws of physics. The most notable account came from Jack Bushong, a radar technician at the National Weather Service. Through his radar screen, he detected large objects moving in a way unlike any aircraft he had ever seen. They flew at extreme speeds, then made sudden direction changes, eventually vanishing entirely without a trace. What made this event especially intriguing was the consistency in the testimonies of over 300 witnesses, ranging from ordinary citizens to government employees, each describing nearly identical phenomena that could not be explained by conventional science. To this day, the 1994 UFO event over Lake Michigan remains without an official explanation. It has become one of the most credible and well-documented UFO sightings in U.S. history, further solidifying the mysterious reputation of the Michigan Triangle. Mystery 9. Boiling water in the heart of the lake and 9,000-year-old ancient ruins. In the late 19th century, residents around Grand Traverse Bay, a northern branch of Lake Michigan, began reporting a bizarre and terrifying phenomenon. The water of the lake suddenly started to boil, as if something was bubbling beneath the surface. Geyser-like jets of hot water would shoot up, evaporating into the air, turning the otherwise calm lake into a chaotic and unsettling scene. No one could explain what was happening, but fear spread quickly across the lakeside communities. This strange event continued for several years without any official explanation from authorities or scientists. Then, in 1917, another odd occurrence took place. An unidentified Navy ship mysteriously appeared and quietly operated in the Grand Traverse Bay area for several weeks. There were no public announcements, no leaks of information, only that, after the ship departed, the boiling water phenomenon abruptly ceased. This fueled suspicions that a hidden secret lay beneath the lake. Nearly a century later, in 2007, a team of archaeologists used advanced sonar technology to survey the lake bed in the same area. They discovered a mysterious stone formation estimated to be around 9,000 years old, arranged in a pattern that seemed unnatural, resembling prehistoric structures like Stonehenge. One of the stones even bore an engraving resembling the head of a mammoth, an extinct species from the Ice Age. Could there be a connection between the ancient ruins at the bottom of the lake and the strange boiling water phenomenon? Why did the Navy ship appear at that exact moment and then vanish as if it had never been there? To this day, Grand Traverse Bay keeps its secrets hidden, as if another world lies quietly beneath the cold, deep waters, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover its mysteries. Amidst the deep, tumultuous waters of Lake Michigan, where ships often encounter fierce storms, there exist lighthouses that are not only beacons of guidance, but also witnesses to spirits that have yet to find peace. These lighthouses, with their long histories marked by tragedy and mystery, seem to carry within them the sorrowful memories of lost souls. First is the Fisher Lighthouse, built in 1895, one of the most famous lighthouses on Lake Michigan, not only for its ancient beauty, but also because of the strange phenomena that have occurred there. Over the years, continuous reports of the ghost of Captain Townsend and 4 other spirits have made this lighthouse an unmissable destination for paranormal enthusiasts. Strange happenings include footsteps echoing through the empty hallways, the scent of tobacco smoke drifting through the air despite no one smoking, and ghostly reflections in mirrors without their owners. It is said that, on foggy nights, one can sometimes see the faint figure of Captain Townsend standing guard as he did in life, unable to leave the place where he had worked for his entire life. Ghost hunters and visitors alike have reported hearing unexplained noises, as though these spirits are unable to depart from the place they once called home. Another mysterious lighthouse is Chambers Island, where reports of paranormal activity began in 1976 and continued until 1986. Witnesses often heard heavy footsteps echoing through the lighthouse, even though no one was visible. Occasionally, objects inside the lighthouse would move inexplicably, as though an invisible hand were rearranging everything. The story took an interesting turn in 1987, when a group of nuns visited the island to conduct a prayer service. After the prayers, the strange occurrences seemed to cease completely. This led many to believe that the restless spirits had been released, thanks to the power of prayer and spiritual faith. Since then, Chambers Island Lighthouse has become a mystical tale of the connection between spirituality and belief. Lastly, we cannot forget the St. Martin Island Lighthouse, which holds a deeply emotional and tragic legend. The legend tells of a lighthouse keeper who lost his child in a boating accident when his ship sank during a fierce storm. In his unrelenting grief, the keeper carried a green lantern and continued to guide ships on the lake as a signal that, despite the loss of his child, he would still fulfill his duty to protect those at sea. The legend tells that his ghost still lingers around the lighthouse, holding the green lantern and lighting the way for ships passing by in the night. Sailors and locals who traverse the waters of Lake Michigan often recount seeing the eerie green light on foggy nights, as though someone is still guiding them through the raging storms. Lake Michigan and the Great Lakes region, in general, are vast, harsh, and dangerous bodies of water. With sudden weather changes, unpredictable waves, winter ice, and treacherous currents, the area has been a nightmare for both sailors and aviators for centuries. On one hand, the vastness and long history of the region could explain many of the tragedies that have occurred. Disappearances might just be the result of accidents, or a combination of human error and the harsh forces of nature. But there are still mysteries that science has yet to explain. A plane vanishing without a trace, a captain disappearing from a locked cabin, UFOs appearing on radar, and a 9,000-year-old stone formation lying deep beneath the water. These strange occurrences are like foggy pieces of a puzzle, suggesting something beyond the reach of conventional understanding. Could this area have once been the center of an ancient civilization? Or is the Michigan Triangle truly a crossroads where different realities intersect? Until a clear answer is found, this region of the lake will continue to draw those with a thirst for discovery and send chills down the spine of anyone who gazes upon its calm, seemingly harmless surface.